My family forced me to give my penthouse to my sister. Then a stranger exposed them live. My name is Grace Hayes. I am 31 years old. The story I am about to tell you is true. I lived it. It's the story of how my family tried to take everything from me, and how they did it in front of the whole world. I am telling this now because I am finally ready. It all started at my sister's wedding. Give your sister your penthouse as a wedding gift, Dad said into the microphone. His voice boomed through the chandeliers. 200 guests froze. The music stopped. Mom's smile never moved. It was painted on. My sister Claire blinked with fake surprise. She even put a hand to her chest. I stood there. My champagne glass was heavy in my hand. I felt the entire room tilt. My father, my mother, my sister, they were all looking at me. They were all smiling. This was it. This was the moment they had planned. I looked at their faces, waiting, expectant. I was supposed to smile. I was supposed to cry. I was supposed to run up and hug my sister. I was supposed to play my part. I did not move. Then, a sound from the back of the hall. The scrape of a chair. Before I tell you how everything flipped. Like and subscribe. Drop a comment. Where are you watching from? A man I had never seen before rose from the back of the hall. He was calm. He was not supposed to be part of the show. Touch her assets again, he said. His voice was not loud, but it cut through the silence. And you'll lose yours. The crowd gasped. A real gasp. Not a polite one. That's when I realized the truth had just walked in. To understand what happened, you have to understand my family. My family lived for applause. We were a performance. My mother, Margaret Hayes, was the director. Her hair was always perfect. Her smile was always perfect. She treated our lives like a stage play. If something was wrong, you did not fix it. You just hid it. You fixed the look of it. She taught me early that feelings were messy. Feelings were unattractive. Perfection was the only thing that mattered. My dad, Richard, was the producer. He loved power more than people. He loved the idea of family. He loved saying "my family" at his golf club. He loved making big speeches at dinner. He did not know how to have a conversation. He only knew how to give a speech. He measured success by what people thought of him, not by what he was. And then there was Claire. My little sister Claire was the golden one, the flawless daughter. She was born to shine. She was beautiful. She was charming. She was not very smart, but it did not matter. She had a way of making people want to help her. She learned to cry instead of work. She learned to smile instead of think. My parents worshipped her. She was their perfect, beautiful, empty product. I was different. I was the quiet one, the one who watched, the one who built things. When I was 12, my dad bought us a computer. Claire wanted to use it to play games. I wanted to know how it worked. I took it apart. My dad was furious. He yelled for an hour. "You broke it!" I put it back together. I made it faster. I was the one who built my own company. A software firm. I built it from my dorm room. I built it with late nights, cold coffee, and lines of code. I built it while Claire was at parties. I built it while my parents were at dinners. They never understood what I did. They only understood the results. They understood the money. They understood the penthouse. They understood the headlines in business magazines. They bragged about me. My daughter Grace, the CEO. It sounded good. It made them look good. But they never asked me about my work. They never asked me about my stress. They never asked me if I was happy. They just called me. They called it help. "Grace, darling, can you help Claire with her rent? Grace, we have a small issue with the club membership. Grace, your father needs a new car. The old one is not good for his image." I paid. I always paid. They called it help. I know now what they meant. They meant use. I was not their daughter. I was their utility. I was their private bank. I remember when I first bought my penthouse. I was 28. It was the first thing I ever bought for myself. It had huge windows. It looked out over the entire city. It was my quiet place, my sanctuary. I invited my family over. My dad walked straight to the window. Good view. This will be a great place to host our fundraiser." My mom inspected the kitchen. "The counters are nice, but this is too much space for just one person." Claire just twirled in the living room. "Wow, Grace, you're so lucky." She said lucky, like I hadn't worked 80-hour weeks for 6 years, like I hadn't sacrificed my entire 20s, like I hadn't built my success with my own 2 hands. Lucky. That's when I should have known. They didn't see it as my home. They saw it as an asset, something they could use, something, one day, they could even take. It did not start with the penthouse. It never does. It started small. Grace, can I borrow $100? I'll pay you back on Friday. Claire never paid me back. Grace, your mom's birthday is coming. I saw a perfect necklace. Can you put it on your card? I'll get the next one. My dad never got the next one. It was small. It was easy to ignore. I was making good money. What was a few $100s between family? I told myself, this is family. You help your family, then the help got bigger. The problems became larger. The first big one was Dad. His business went under. He was a real estate developer. He made bad bets. The market turned. He was ruined. He was going to lose everything. The house, the cars, the club membership. He was going to lose his image. He called me at 2 a.m. I was in the middle of a major product launch. I had not slept in 2 days, Gracie, he said. His voice was thick. I thought he was drunk. I'm in trouble. Real trouble. He told me the number. It was huge. It was more money than most people see in a lifetime. I need you to fix this, he said. He did not ask. He told me, Dad, I said. That's almost all my liquid cash. That's my company's emergency fund. It's just money, Grace, he snapped. This is your family. This is my life. Are you going to let me be humiliated? After all I did for you? All he did for me. I sat there in my office staring at my computer screen. The glow of the code lit up my face. I thought about saying no. What would happen? He would be ruined. Mom would be hysterical. Claire would be a mess. They would all hate me. They would all blame me. I wired the money. I clicked transfer. I felt sick. The next day, my dad did not call to thank me. He sent a text. You're a lifesaver, kid. Knew I could count on you. 2 days later, my mom posted a photo on Instagram. It was her and Dad at the golf club, smiling. Such a relaxing weekend, she wrote. I saved them, and they were relaxing. I was just the bank that never closed. The second one was Mom, her charity, her passion project. It was a local arts fund. Really, it was an excuse for her to throw parties and be in the society pages. One night, she held her big annual gala. I was there, of course. I had to be. I had to buy a table. She pulled me aside by the dessert bar. Her smile was tight. Darling, we have a problem, she whispered. What's wrong? The silent auction. It was soft. We are $30,000 short of our goal. It will be a public humiliation. I looked at her. Mom, I already bought a $10,000 table. Her eyes went cold. Don't be difficult, Grace. Your father and I have an image to maintain. This is my reputation, just fix it. She was talking about her reputation. I was thinking about my payroll. I wrote the check. The next week, the local paper had a big photo of her. Margaret Hayes' stunning success. She never said thank you. The last one, right before the wedding, was Claire. She was engaged. Engaged to a man I did not like. He was all image, just like my father. Claire called me, crying. Grace, it's a disaster. What's a disaster, Claire? The wedding. The flowers, the venue. It's all so much more than I thought. My budget is... It's a problem, I sighed. I was tired. I was closing a deal in Tokyo. What is the problem, Claire? It's $50,000, she whispered. I'm $50,000 short. I almost laughed. Claire, that's not a small budget problem. That's a huge problem. You need to cut back. Get a cheaper venue. Get fewer flowers. Cut back. She sobbed. I can't cut back. This is my one day. Don't you want me to be happy? It's just money to you, Grace. It's just money. It's just money. I closed my eyes. I saw my desk. I saw my employees. I saw the sleepless nights. Fine, I said. I'll cover it. This is the last time, Claire. The last time? Oh, thank you, Grace. Thank you. You're the best sister ever. She hung up. I told myself, this is family. I told myself, this is love. But I was wrong. Family shouldn't feel like theft. Gratitude shouldn't feel like a disguise. I was just tired. Tired of being the one who always had to be strong. The one who always had to fix everything. I paid the $50,000. I thought, it's for her wedding. After this, it's done. I was so wrong. They weren't done. They were just getting started. The night before the wedding was the rehearsal dinner. The hotel ballroom was suffocating. Too much gold. Too much perfume. Too many fake laughs. My family was at the center of it all. Dad, telling a loud story to the groom's father. Mom, gliding through the room, checking on decorations. Claire, practicing her future role as adoring wife, hanging on her fiancé's arm. I felt invisible. I was wearing a beige dress. Mom picked it out. It's modest, Grace. It's not your night. It was never my night. I needed air. I needed a break from the performance. I slipped out of the ballroom and went to the hotel bar. It was quiet. Dark wood, low lighting. I ordered a club soda. I needed my head to be clear. I sat there for maybe 5 minutes, just breathing. Then a man sat down 2 stools away. I didn't look at him. I wasn't interested. "You're Grace Hayes," he said. It was not a question. It was a statement. I turned. He was in his 40s. He wore a simple, very expensive gray suit. He had sharp eyes. He looked tired but focused. "I am," I said. "Do I know you?" "No," he said. He signaled the bartender. "Whiskey, neat." He turned back to me. "I know your work. Your software is clean, aggressive. Thank you," I said. I was confused. "Are you in the industry?" "In a way," he said. He took his drink. He did not sip it. He just held it. "I'm a friend of your work. And I'm telling you, be careful." "Careful? Careful of what?" He leaned in. His voice was soft. "Be careful what they announce tomorrow." My blood went cold. "What? What do you mean? Who are you?" "My name is William Carter," he said. He looked at me. His eyes were not friendly. They were assessing. "You built an empire, Ms. Hayes. Don't let them take it from you." He stood up. He put a $100 bill on the bar. "Wait," I said. "What do you know?" He was already walking away. "I just hate to see a good architect lose their building to a wrecking crew," he said over his shoulder. Then he was gone. I sat at the bar. My heart was pounding. A wrecking crew? My family? I tried to brush it off. He was a drunk, a weirdo, a business rival trying to get in my head, but his words stuck to me. Be careful what they announce tomorrow. I went back to my hotel room. I did not go back to the party. It was 1 a.m. I was staring at the ceiling. The man's voice was in my head. My phone buzzed on the nightstand, a text. From an unknown number, I picked it up. The text had one line, "They'll take what's yours tonight. Don't lose it." I dropped the phone. It was not a drunk. It was not a joke. It was real. The man in the bar. "This text. They were connected. Take what's mine?" I whispered. I got up. I turned on the light. I went to my laptop. I checked my company accounts. All secure. I checked my personal bank accounts. All secure. I checked my stock portfolio. All stable. What else was there? What did I have that they could take at a wedding? My stomach clenched. My penthouse. It was the only other thing. The one thing my mother always said was, too much for one person. The one thing Claire was always so jealous of. I tried to call the unknown number. It went straight to a dead tone. I did not sleep. My gut, my real gut, already knew the truth. They were going to do something, and it was going to be bad. The next morning, the day of the wedding, was chaos. Hair, makeup, mimosas. My mother was a general, marching around the bridal suite, shouting orders. More hairspray on Claire. "Grace, you look pale. Put on more blush. You look sick." I felt sick. I had not slept. The text message burned in my mind, but I smiled. I nodded. I played my part. I was the good daughter, the good sister. I needed my purse. I thought I had left it in the small family lounge down the hall, a quiet room where we were supposed to not be in front of the cameras. I walked down the hallway. The thick carpet muffled my steps. I was about to open the door to the lounge when I heard them. My family. The door was open. Just a crack. I froze. I heard my father's voice. That big, booming, public-speaking voice. "During the toast," Dad said. "Right after I thank everyone for coming, we'll make the announcement." "It's perfect," Mom's voice said. Cool. Calm. She won't dare refuse in front of everyone. Not at her own sister's wedding. My hand was on the doorknob. I did not move. My heart was not pounding. It was still. Exactly, Dad continued. Too many cameras. Too much social media. Her professional pride won't let her make a scene. She'll just have to smile and accept it. She'll sign the papers later, Mom said. She'll have to. A small voice. A wavering voice. It was Claire. Are you sure she'll be okay with it? I mean, it's her home. There was a silence. Then, my mother's laugh. It was not a nice laugh. It was sharp. It was like glass. She doesn't need that place, darling, Mom said. You do. You're a married couple. You need a home that reflects your status. Grace can just buy another one. My mother's next words hit me like a physical blow. It's a wedding gift. It's what she's for. It's what she's for. Not who she is. What she's for. I was a thing. A tool. A bank. A provider. I leaned my head against the cool wall in the hallway. I felt nothing. It was not sadness. It was cold. It was the cold, hard clarity of truth. This was their plan. To use my sister's wedding. To use the cameras. To use the 200 guests. To use my own pride against me. To publicly force me to give away my home. They had written me into their show. I was the sacrifice. I stood there for a long time. I heard them move on. They started talking about the honeymoon. I turned around. I walked silently back to my room. I did not cry. I did not scream. The victim part of me was gone. I sat on the edge of the bed. I opened my laptop. They had a plan. Now I had to make one too. I did not go back to the bridal suite. I went to my own hotel room. I closed the door. The sound of the click was the loudest thing in the room. I was not crying. I was not angry. I was cold. It was the feeling I get before a major deal. The moment where all the talking stops and the work begins. My family lived in a world of words, of feelings, of shows. I lived in a world of contracts, of code, of action. They thought I was just like them. They were wrong. I sat on the edge of the bed. I opened my laptop. The wedding music was a faint thump-thump through the walls. Laughter. Shouting. I tuned it all out. I went to my secure server. I opened a folder. The folder was named Personal. I opened another folder inside it. Penthouse. I gathered the documents. 1. The deed. My name. Grace Hayes. No one else. 2. The wire transfer. The full one-time payment. From my business account. Not my father's, not my mother's, mine. 3. The property tax receipts. Paid by me. For 3 years, I put them all into a new single PDF. I opened my email. My fingers were not shaking. They were steady. I did not email a family lawyer. I emailed my lawyer, David Lee, my corporate lawyer, the man who handled my contracts and my intellectual property. This was not a family matter. This was an asset grab. To David Lee. From Grace Hayes. Subject, urgent. Asset coercion, I wrote the email. It was short. It was simple. David, I am at a family event. I have just learned that my family will attempt to publicly coerce me into transferring a significant real estate asset, my penthouse, during the reception. This is not a joke. This is not an exaggeration. They plan to announce it as a gift during the toasts at 8 p.m. to force my compliance. I am attaching all ownership documents. I need you to be ready. I do not know what I am walking into. But I need to be protected, be ready. 8 p.m., Ballroom C. Grace. I attached the PDF. I hit send. The little whoosh sound filled the room. It was done. I stood up. I went to my suitcase. On the bed was the dress my mother had picked out for me. A beige, flowing, modest dress. A bridesmaid's dress. A victim's dress. I looked at it. I hated it. I unzipped my garment bag. I had packed one other outfit. It was for a business dinner tomorrow. A dinner that was not going to happen. I pulled it out. It was a navy dress. A sheath dress. It was sharp. It was clean. It had no ruffles. No lace. It was armor. I took off my robe. I put on the dress. It fit perfectly. I did my own makeup. I did not put on the blush my mother wanted. I left my face pale. I put on a dark, simple lipstick. My hair was already up. I looked in the mirror. I did not see Grace, the daughter. I did not see Grace, the sister. I saw Grace Hayes, the CEO. They had written me into their show. They thought I was a side character. The one who pays for everything? They did not know they were making me the star. I heard a knock. Grace, we're late! The photos! It was my mother's voice. Annoyed, I opened the door. My mother looked at me. Her eyes went from my face to my dress and back to my face. What are you wearing? She hissed. That is not the color scheme. The beige one was dirty, I said. My voice was calm. It's not appropriate, Grace. This is Claire's day. Not one of your board meetings. It's a dress, Mother. I walked past her. She was furious. I could feel the heat coming off her. But the photographers were waiting. The show was waiting. She could not make a scene. Not yet. We took the photos. I smiled. I stood next to Claire. I stood next to my father. My father put his arm around me. That's my girl, he said, smiling for the camera. My generous, successful girl. I looked at him. I felt nothing. Just the weight of his hand. It felt like a trap. Claire giggled. You look so serious, Grace. Smile, it's my wedding. She could not meet my eyes. She knew. She knew what they were planning. And she was going to let it happen. She was going to take my home. The photos were over. We went to the ceremony. I sat in the front row. I watched them say their vows. To love and to cherish. In sickness and in health. I almost laughed. They forgot the real vow. In family, we take. My phone buzzed in my purse. I slipped my hand in. I looked at the screen. It was an email from David. Grace, I have received everything. I am not on standby. I am here. I am at the hotel bar. I have 2 associates with me. When you are ready, I am ready. Do not let them do this. A new feeling. Not cold. Strength. I put the phone away. I watched my sister kiss her new husband. The crowd cheered. The show was starting. The ballroom was a sea of gold. My mother had designed it. It was not a room. It was a performance. The chandeliers were too big. The flowers were too tall. The air smelled like expensive perfume and salmon. Fake laughter. That's what I remember most. The sound of hundreds of people all in one room performing happiness. I was at the head table. Trapped. On display. My mother was on my left. My father on my right. We were the happy family. I ate my salad. I moved the lettuce around the plate. I was calm. It was a strange, cold calm. Like being in the eye of a hurricane. I knew the storm was coming. I was just waiting. I drank my water. I needed a clear head. My mother leaned in. You're still pale, Grace. I told you to wear more blush. You look plain. I'm fine, Mom, I said. My dad was drinking. He was on his 3rd champagne. He was getting loud. He was getting ready for his performance. Then it happened. The sound. The ting, ting, ting of a knife on a champagne glass. My father stood up. He grabbed the microphone from the stand. He loved microphones. He smiled. It was his Richard Hayes man of the people smile. Rehearsed, radiant, fake, friends. Family, welcome. He boomed. I watched him. I did not see my father. I saw a con man. He thanked everyone for coming. He thanked the groom's family. He talked about new beginnings. He talked about family. Family, he said, his voice thick with emotion. It is the most important thing. It is the bedrock. It is the foundation. It is the one thing you can always, always count on. My stomach turned. We support each other, he said. We lift each other up. He was looking at me. This was it. He turned to Claire. To my beautiful daughter, Claire. And to her wonderful new husband, James. He raised his glass. People cheered, but tonight, he said, his voice dropping. We have one more celebration. A very special one, he turned. His eyes found me. The spotlight. I had not noticed the spotlight before, but it found me. It was hot on my face. My eldest daughter, Grace, he said. She has been so successful. We are so proud of her, he smiled at me. It was a command. Smile back. Play the part. I did not smile. I just watched him. His smile tightened. Just for a second. He was not used to me missing my cue. He pushed on. And to show her love for her sister, to prove that family is the most important thing. Tonight, my eldest daughter, Grace, has decided to gift her sister her penthouse as a wedding surprise. The explosion, applause erupted. It was deafening. Cameras flashed. White spots danced in my eyes. Claire gasped. It was a perfect, practiced gasp. Her hand flew to her mouth. She turned to me. Her eyes were wide with fake, tearful surprise. Oh, Grace, she cried. You didn't. My mother was already dabbing her eye with a napkin. So generous, darling, she whispered, loud enough for the table to hear. So generous. Everyone was looking at me. Everyone was clapping. They were clapping for me. For my generosity. My father held the microphone out. His arm was extended. Grace, he said. His voice was all sugar. A few words. A word for your sister? This was the trap. This was the public execution. I was supposed to stand up. I was supposed to cry. I was supposed to say, I love you, Claire. It's all yours. Internal monologue. This is the humiliation. They think my pride will make me do it. They think I am too weak to say no. They think I am just like them. I looked at Claire's fake tears. I looked at my mother's fake pride. I looked at my father's victorious smile. And I did not move. I did not stand up. Did not smile. I did not cry. Just sat there. The applause started to weaken. It sputtered. Like a dying engine. The cameras were still flashing. My father's smile wavered. Grace? He said into the microphone. Cat got your tongue? He laughed. A few people laughed with him. It was a nervous sound. I just looked at him. The silence got loud. It got heavy. People were confused. Was this part of the show? Grace, my mother whispered. Her smile was frozen. Her teeth were bared. Stand up. Say thank you. Now. I turned my head. I looked at her. I picked up my water glass. My hand was not shaking. I took a slow sip. I set the glass down. For the first time in my life, I did not play my part. I was breaking their show. My father's face was turning red. He was about to speak again. He was about to call me ungrateful. He was about to yell. And that is when it happened. The scrape of a chair. It was loud. It was from the back of the room. I looked. It was him, the man from the bar. The man in the gray suit. He stood up. He was at a table near the back. A table for vendors or plus ones. I did not know how he had gotten in. He was completely calm. My father glared at him. Excuse me, sir, he said into the microphone. This is a private family moment. The man started walking. His footsteps were silent on the thick carpet. He walked down the center aisle, towards the head table. His voice was even. It was not loud, but it cut through the entire room. Touch her assets again, he said. The entire hall went still, and you'll lose yours. My father's face was a mask of confusion and rage. Who the hell are you? He sputtered. Security! Get this man out of here! The man did not stop walking. My name is William Carter, he said. He reached into his jacket. Not for a gun. For a wallet. He flipped it open. He flashed his credentials at my father. CEO of Carter Financial, he said, and Ms. Hayes' senior financial partner. The name Carter Financial hit the room like a bomb. They were one of the biggest investment firms in the country. They were sharks. They were legends. My father's mouth opened. Nothing came out. Senior financial partner? My mother whispered. Grace doesn't have a partner. William Carter stopped about 10 feet from the table. He was now the center of attention. It's not a gift if it's forced, William said. He turned just slightly. He addressed the stunned guests. That penthouse is not a personal item, he said. His voice was like a knife. It is a corporate asset. It is legally protected under Ms. Hayes' executive contract with her firm. It is tied to her corporate bonds. He was spinning. He was protecting me. He was using their language. The language of power. Any attempt to force or publicly coerce the transfer of that asset, William said, his voice getting harder, constitutes coercion. It is a felony. Felony. The word hung in the air. Whispers broke out. Like a wave of snakes. Did he say felony? What's going on? Coercion? My mother's face was not pale. It was gone. It was drained of all color. My father was sputtering. This is a misunderstanding. This is a joke, Grace. He was begging me now, in front of everyone. Grace, tell him. Tell this. This man, it's a gift. Tell him. William Carter did not look at me. He kept his eyes locked on my father. His eyes were like ice. No, Richard, William said. My head snapped up. He used my father's first name. This isn't a misunderstanding. William took one more step forward. This is theft. And you did it live. The room was silent. Not a whisper. A man at a front table stood up. Mr. Harrison, one of my dad's biggest investors. Richard, Mr. Harrison said. His voice was shaking with anger. Is this true? Are you trying to steal from your own daughter? Now, Tom, my father stammered. Let's not be hasty. I'm not hasty, Mr. Harrison shouted. William Carter cut in. Mr. Hayes has a history of failed businesses, he said. How do you know that? My father stammered. It's my job to know, William said. I know about the default in Mo 09. I know about the charity that's been in the red for 3 years. And I know, he paused. He looked at me, that Ms. Grace Hayes has bailed you out. Every single time. The room was silent. William turned his head. He looked at me. Ms. Hayes, he said, I am asking you as your financial advisor. Did you, or did you not, agree to gift your home to your sister tonight? This was it. He was giving me the stage. He was giving me the power. I stood up. My legs were shaking. But I stood up. My navy blue dress felt like steel. I looked at my father. His face was purple. I looked at my mother. Her face was a mask of pure, white-hot rage. I looked at Claire. She was actually crying now. I took the microphone from my father's limp hand. I did not have to shout. The microphone was on. No, I said. My voice was clear. It did not shake. No, I did not. I was never asked. The room erupted. My no was a match. The room was gasoline. Mr. Harrison, the investor, slammed his napkin on the table. I'm out, he shouted. My firm is terminating our contract with Hayes Development. First thing tomorrow. I will not be associated with a thief. Thief! Someone else yelled. A woman in a red dress stood up. She was one of my mother's biggest charity friends, and my donations to Margaret's charity are hereby rescinded, she announced. I will not work with frauds. It was a chain reaction. People were standing up. They were not whispering. They were talking. They were shouting. I can't believe it. They tried to steal from their own daughter. In front of everyone. Did you see her face? She was terrified. They were wrong. I was not terrified. I was free. And the phones. Everywhere. Like a sea of fireflies. Phones were out. They were recording. The little red lights. The wedding my parents paid for, with my money, had turned into a courtroom. It was their courtroom. It was their execution. Claire was sobbing. Real ugly sobs. Her mascara was running. You ruined it. She shrieked at me. She actually shrieked. You ruined my wedding. I just looked at her. I didn't do anything, Claire, I said. My voice was calm. I just told the truth. My mother. She rushed to my side. She was not gliding. She was running. Her nails dug into my arm. It hurt. Her face was a mask. Pure rage, she whispered. So the microphones would not hear. You are humiliating us, she hissed. Her voice was a snake. After everything we did for you, you ungrateful child, you will fix this. You will get up there and tell them it was a joke. Tell them now. I looked at her. I looked at her eyes. There was no love there. There was no mother. There was just a director. A director who had lost control of her star. I pulled my arm away from her. No, mother, I said. My voice was just as quiet. You did that yourself. My father found his voice, and it was pure rage. Get out, he roared. He was not roaring at me. He was roaring at William Carter. Get out of my daughter's wedding! Security! Security! He lunged. He actually lunged at William. It was pathetic. He was 60 years old. He was out of shape. He was fueled by champagne and shame. William did not even flinch. He did not even raise a hand. He just stood there. But the hotel security was already there. They were fast. They did not grab William. They grabbed my father. 2 large men, in suits. They each took an arm, sir, one said. You need to calm down. Get your hands off me, my father shouted. He was fighting them, in his own tuxedo. At his own daughter's wedding, it was the end. The cameras were flashing. Not the wedding photographer. The phones. William Carter just watched. He let the scene play out. He let my father destroy himself. As the security guards pulled my dad toward the exit, William leaned in. He leaned close enough for my father to hear. You thought she was easy to silence, he said. His voice was a low, cold hum. She isn't. I was just standing there. The wedding was over. The music was gone. Guests were leaving. They were walking out in droves. They did not want to be associated with this. I looked at the head table, the half-eaten food, the melting ice sculptures, the 5-tier cake that no one would eat. It was all a set, and the set was on fire. William Carter walked over to me. He did not touch me. He just stood beside me. Are you all right, Ms. Hayes? He asked. I looked at the wreckage of my family. Claire was on the floor, sobbing. Her new husband was just standing there looking at her like she was a stranger. My mother was frozen, her hands in fists. I could not answer. I turned. I walked away. I walked down the center aisle. I walked past the shocked guests. I did not look back. I walked out of the ballroom. I walked through the empty lobby. I got in the elevator. I went home, to my penthouse. The silence in my penthouse was total. I stood at the window, in my navy blue dress. I did not sleep. I watched the sun rise over the city. My phone started to buzz. It had been buzzing all night. I picked it up. I opened the internet. It was everywhere. The footage. Wedding scandal. CEO dad tries to steal daughter's penthouse live. The toast that toppled an empire. Family fraud. The Hayes collapse. They got it all. My father's speech. William's interruption. My no. My father being dragged out by security. My mother's face of rage. My sister sobbing on the floor. It was viral. By 9:01 a.m., the emails started. The first was from Mr. Harrison's firm. Contract terminated. By noon, my dad's firm had lost every investor. It was over. He was ruined. For real this time. My mother's friends all deserted her. Her charity was being investigated. She deleted her social media, and Claire, I got a text. It was from a number I did not know. It was the groom. James. The wedding is off. We are getting an annulment. I cannot be associated with your family. Do not contact me. He called off the marriage before the honeymoon. They lost everything. Their money, their reputation, their friends, their power. And me? I stood by the window of the penthouse they tried to take. The city lights started to come on as evening fell. They reflected in the glass like applause. A quiet applause. My phone rang. I looked at the number. William Carter, I answered. Ms. Hayes. Mr. Carter. I just wanted to make sure you were all right. I'm okay, I said. It was the truth. I was tired. I was empty. But I was okay. You handled it with grace, he said. I looked at my reflection in the dark glass. I smiled. It was a faint smile. A real one. I finally learned what my name means, I said. I am still in my penthouse. It is my home. I have not spoken to my family. They have not tried to speak to me. The performance is over. For the first time in my life, the silence in my world is not surrender. It is not weakness. It is power. And it is mine.